You've all seen the social media posts saying that the purge is happening on this date at this place. People begin posting with mocked up flyers and messages calling for a real life purge, where all crime, including murder, is legal for 12 hours. I'm sorry to disappoint any of you, but the purge is not happening. It is a hoax. So when you see alerts about the clown purge occurring on TikTok, it's not real. You don't need to get a clown costume on, and I certainly wouldn't be committing any crimes. Let's get spooky. Hey, spooky people. It's your best friend, Kenny, and we are back with another spooky, disturbing story. Please like, subscribe, and if you got a hype button, hit the hype button. Thank you. The viral spread of hoaxes claiming an impending purge all goes back to the Purge film franchise, which started in 2013. It was a successful horror film franchise, and it was a pretty good film. It evolved into what became a little bit too close to real life. There is a lot of political allegory that taps into real life anxieties. And the problem with that is audiences have found this concept scary, but also plausible, which has allowed it to leap into reality in the form of social media hoaxes. The first Purge movie came out on June 7th, 2013, and the film introduced a dystopian concept. In a near-future America, one night a year is designated as the Purge, a 12-hour period during which all crime, including murder, is legal, and all emergency services are suspended. The annual event is framed by the nation's new totalitarian government, the new founding fathers of America, as a necessary countrywide catharsis that has led to historically low rates of crime and unemployment. And the movie was pretty successful. It had a $3 million budget and it grossed nearly $90 million worldwide, which established the Purge as a recognizable thing. The first movie was mostly a home invasion thriller centered on the affluent Sandin family, whose dad, who was played by Ethan Hawke, grew wealthy by selling high-end security systems designed to protect the rich during the annual purge. The family's support for the purge is shattered when the son grants sanctuary to a homeless man being hunted by a group of wealthy, preppy purgers, thereby bringing the brutal reality of the night into their fortified home. The narrative forces the family and the audience to confront the moral implications of a society that sanctions violence for the supposed greater good. Now, if this is starting to sound a little too close to the truth right now, I get you. The first sequel, The Purge Anarchy, and subsequent movies like Purge Election Year and The First Purge pivoted from this contained movie thriller space to pretty sprawling social commentary. James DeMonico, who created the series, stated that his desire was to explore the perspectives of the disenfranchised, the impoverished, and how the system is unhealthy. He viewed the premise as a metaphor for the predatory economics that we've seen over the years, where we're feeding the rich and taking from the poor. The first film implied this, but the sequels just made it explicit. The Purge is not a chaotic release for all, but it's an example of class warfare. The film shows that the annual event is a mechanism of social control designed to eliminate what's termed as non-contributing members of society, with the wealthy preying on the poor who lack the resources to protect themselves. The new founding fathers of America, which is supported by a powerful gun lobby, encourages the violence as a form of population control, culling the economically marginalized to reduce the financial burden on the state. The franchise has begun to directly mirror American politics, which it acknowledged in the movie The Purge Election Year, which came out during the contentious 2016 U.S. presidential election and centered on a candidate later trying to end the purge. Later, the Forever Purge incorporated imagery that referenced political polarization that we live in right now, with anti-immigrant hate groups spouting white nationalist propaganda and depicting a breakdown of order in the government. The movies began to mirror real-world events, which blurred the line between fiction and reality, and it made the Purge's dystopian vision feel less like some far-fetched fantasy and more like something that was plausible. This film successfully preyed on our fears that the brutal logic of the Purge was an exaggerated reflection of social tensions. And this helps lay the groundwork for viral hoaxes on social media, because people have started to believe that this is a possible event. It's allowed the movie to bleed into reality. In August 2014, the premise of the Purge erupted into the real world in Louisville, Kentucky, providing the case study for how a low-effort social media post can ignite widespread panic. The Louisville Purge was a rumor, and it became a digital event. It started as a teenager making a joke, and it escalated into a nationwide spectacle. It all began with a single tweet. On Sunday, August 10th, 2014, a student from Iroquois High School was inspired after watching the movie and he posted an image calling for a Louisville purge to take place at 8 p.m. on Friday, August 15th until 6:30 a.m. the following morning. The student told the high school newspaper, "It was just supposed to be a fun thing. I never thought it'd get as serious as it did. I was really shocked the first time I saw local media covering it. Oops, sorry, man." For a few days, the rumor just sort of circulated among local teenagers on platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Other students began amplifying the idea by creating mock promotional flyers that mimicked the movie's aesthetic, making the hoax have a bit of coordination. The rumor reached a tipping point at its designated start time around 8 p.m. on Friday, August 15th. The hashtag Louisville Purge exploded. One thing that drove the engagement, the spectacle of the Louisville Purge, was the public's ability to listen to the Louisville Metro Police Department's radio scanner online. It turned a local law enforcement channel into a form of live entertainment. At its peak, there was an estimated 80,000 people monitoring the scanner feed, and a hashtag Louisville Police Scanner was mentioned over 100,000 times as a national audience listened in, speculated, and amplified both real and fabricated phone calls, creating a powerful feedback loop of hysteria. And this digital storm had consequences in Louisville. The rumor incited a full-out panic, leading to cancellation of public events, including a high school football game, after the visiting team refused to travel to the city. Residents reported receiving concerned texts from friends and family in other cities, and many parents kept their children indoors. The Louisville Municipal Police Department knew that the rumor was a joke, but they felt compelled to respond seriously. An LMPD spokesperson later explained, "We're always going to err on the side of caution to keep citizens of our city safe." On the night of the hoax, the caution was tested as the department fielded a 20% increase in emergency calls compared to a typical Friday night. Most of these calls were for unfounded reports of suspicious persons or general trouble runs, which showed the heightened state of public anxiety. Only one related arrest was made, involving 3 teens who caused alarm by entering a liquor store with large knives. They were charged with disorderly conduct and fleeing police. The student who originated the hoax was questioned by police, but he was not charged with a crime. And he shouldn't be, because he clearly didn't know that this was going to happen. Local media outlets played a significant role in escalating the situation. Several were criticized for engaging in sensationalist reporting that amplified the hysteria. Imagine that. Rather than investigating the rumor's origins to debunk it, some news sites published articles that compiled quotes from anxious residents. And this lent the hoax an air of possibility, and it fueled public fear. At least one local news director made a conscious decision not to lead the broadcast with the story to avoid creating unnecessary panic, which was the right move. The Louisville Purge became a live, interactive, crowdsourced piece of digital theater. The online police scanner became something that people on Twitter listened to and interacted with, commented on, interpreted, and even fabricated action. People all over the country became active participants. Their own speculation and fear-mongering, which included false rumors such as a giraffe escaping from the Louisville Zoo. I don't know if the giraffe was directly participating in the purge or not. The fear-mongering was re-injected into the local environment to amplify the panic they were watching unfold. This is something that happens with modern social media hoaxes. The line between the audience, the amplifier, and the victim is blurred. The Louisville hoax spread. It became a highly effective and adaptable meme and was quickly replicated across the country, merging with other types of fears. After the Louisville incident in 2014, the purge hoax went viral. Social media posts and digitally created flyers announcing localized purges began appearing for numerous other U.S. cities, including Dayton, Ohio. A poster for Dayton's The Purge circulated on Twitter and Facebook, prompting Dayton police to prepare for potential incidents while publicly declaring the rumor completely baseless and unfounded. In Oildale, California, an internet rumor of a Friday night purge led the Kern County Sheriff's Office to assign a team of deputies to investigate, with a spokesman expressing concern that some people have a hard time differentiating between fantasy and reality. And isn't that the truth? Tweets about a Detroit, Michigan purge gained traction, fueled by speculation around a major concert in the city. There were rumors of purges in Colorado and Texas, with multiple cities in both states as targets for upcoming purges. Colorado police in Lakewood, Denver, and Aurora responded to the public concern, with Aurora PD officially debunking it as a hoax and investigating whether the post itself was a crime. In Texas, the Woodlands, Conroe, and Huntsville prompted the Montgomery County Sheriff's Attorney to field calls and follow leads while assuring the public it was a hoax. In all of these cases, the pattern was consistent. A social media post mimicking the movie's premise was localized to a specific community, generating sufficient public concern to necessitate an official response from law enforcement to debunk the threat. The purge concept began to merge with other viral threats. In 2016 and 2017, during a widespread panic over creepy clown sightings, the two narratives combined. Social media posts began to circulate warning of an impending clown purge scheduled for the night before Halloween. The new variant was just a meme. Fact fact-checking organizations noted that the text of the clown purge warning was a verbatim copy of the earlier purge hoaxes, which shows it was low effort, but had a high impact. Some of you might be disappointed with this because you like watching the world burn, but no purge, clown purge, or otherwise has ever materialized. The widespread fear has led to isolated incidents of individuals dressing as clowns to frighten people, resulting in arrests in several states. These two panics fused together into the clown purge was perfectly encapsulated in an incident in Lake County, Florida, where a high school was already on alert due to online clown threats. 2 students were arrested for misdemeanors for wearing masks from the movie The Purge Anarchy while running through the school parking lot, yanking on car doors, and scaring other students. The spread of the purge is a result of a powerful narrative that is engineered to exploit fundamental human cognitive biases, and is accelerated by social media that prioritizes engagement above everything else. Viral hoaxes thrive by the innate workings of the human mind. The purge narrative is a great example in triggering the psychological mechanisms that promote sharing these hoaxes. Social psychology consistently shows that content evoking high arousal emotions, such as fear, anger, surprise, and disgust, is significantly more likely to be shared than content that elicits low arousal emotions like sadness or contentment. The idea of a government-sanctioned night of lawless violence is engineered to provoke intense fear and outrage, making it inherently viral material. In the high-speed, information-saturated environment of social media, the brain relies on mental shortcuts to process information. The purge hoax exploits several of these. One is the illusory truth effect, and this bias describes our tendency to believe information is true after repeated exposure. As a purge warning appears again and again across different social media feeds, its repetition makes our brains believe it. Confirmation bias. This is the tendency to seek out, interpret, and share information that confirms one's pre-existing beliefs or fears. Individuals who are already anxious about crime, social decay, and political instability, the purge hoax aligns with their worldview really well, making them more likely to adapt it as true and share it as a warning. The decision to share on social media is also a social act. People are more likely to believe and spread misinformation if it comes from a source within their in-group or someone who they perceive as credible, such as a friend or family member. Sharing a warning like a purge hoax can also serve as a form of social signaling, a way to demonstrate care and concern for one's social network, one's friends, one's family. The design of social media platforms itself are an engine for viral deception, for viral hoaxes. Research from the University of Southern California suggests that the spread of misinformation is driven less by ideology or bad critical thinking and more by the simple habit of sharing that the platforms are designed to instill. Social media sites employ rewards, likes, shares, comments, and follower counts that provide positive reinforcement for frequent posting. Over time, this makes users share content almost automatically in response to the platform cues by bypassing deliberate evaluation of the information's accuracy. Then, the algorithms that curate users' feeds are designed to maximize engagement. Since emotionally charged and sensational content generates the most reaction, these systems inherently favor and promote it. Once a purge hoax gains initial traction, algorithms push it into feeds of more users, creating a powerful feedback loop that amplifies its reach. This contributes to the formation of echo chambers, where users are repeatedly exposed to the threatening narrative, algorithmically shielded from debunking efforts or contradictory information. The nature of these hoaxes adapt to the dominant platforms of the era. The initial purge hoaxes spread on text and image-based platforms like Facebook and Twitter, but the rise of TikTok has created a new environment for misinformation. TikTok's algorithmically driven short-form video format prioritizes immediate, visceral, and emotional content over context, making it an ideal medium for false information to pass as credible. Platforms like TikTok has implemented measures to combat hoaxes, but their design continues to fuel new forms of viral deception, such as dangerous challenges and scams. Our brains are hardwired with biases that make us vulnerable to high arousal, repetitive, and socially validated information. Social media platforms, in order to get user engagement and drive advertising revenue, are specifically programmed to cater to, exploit, and amplify these vulnerabilities. The hoax isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature, the inevitable result of placing a perfectly viral narrative into an ecosystem optimized for maximum spread. The purge hoaxes were baseless threats, but they had actual consequences. These hoaxes created significant challenges for law enforcement and journalism, forcing them into a reactive posture that made the problem worse. It also created real financial, psychological, and social costs on the communities they targeted, demonstrating that tangible harm can be inflicted by online falsehoods. The viral hoaxes placed law enforcement agencies in a tough position. Even when a threat is assessed as non-credible, the speed and scale that it spreads on social media puts pressure on law enforcement to act. Police departments in Louisville, Dayton, Oildale, and elsewhere were compelled to issue public statements and allocate resources to combat these hoaxes. This was driven by a duty to reassure a panicked public and to prepare for the fact that there was a real possibility of copycat violence or opportunistic crime that could have been committed under the cover of the hoax. And the response comes at a cost. It diverts limited personnel, time, and taxpayer money away from actual emergencies. Responding to hoax threats wastes resources and also puts first responders in unnecessary danger. It creates a paradox where the official response can inadvertently legitimize the hoax in the public's mind. Police warnings, which are intended to calm fears and debunk the rumor, can be interpreted as confirmation that the threat is being taken seriously and therefore must be real. This creates a situation where the attempt to control the panic causes it to further spread. The media's handling of the purge hoaxes shows a growing tension between journalistic ethics and the commercial pressures of the digital age. News organizations cover viral content reveals a widespread practice of repeating unverified claims with little or no original reporting. Many outlets reported on the purge rumors by simply aggregating social media posts or quoting concerned citizens, a practice that again amplified the hoax rather than investigating it. This was driven by the desire to capture web traffic from a trending topic while it was new and generating interest to get clicks. This report first, verify later approach goes against the core tenets of journalistic ethics, which are supposed to mandate accuracy, verification, and commitment to minimize harm. Reporting on the existence of a viral rumor can be newsworthy in itself, but ethical guidelines require that such information be clearly and unambiguously framed as unverified. During these purge panics, many outlets failed this standard, instead using sensationalist headlines that contributed to public fear. By amplifying these hoaxes, these news organizations gave them a veneer of mainstream credibility, effectively polluting the information ecosystem for commercial gain. These hoaxes also inflicted direct harm on the communities they targeted. The panics had tangible financial consequences. This included the direct costs of the police response, such as overtime pay, as well as indirect costs like lost revenue from local businesses, as public events were canceled and residents chose to stay home out of fear. There is also the impact of the widespread fear, anxiety, and emotional distress generated within the targeted communities. These events erode social trust, creating a generalized sense of insecurity, and demonstrate that even if a threat is just a joke, it can cause actual real-world harm. How The Purge went from a low-budget horror film to a recurring nationwide catalyst for real-world panic is incredible. It's a symptom of deeper social issues, a growing distrust in our institutions, a media environment where commercial incentives often override ethical obligations, and a public that's largely unequipped with critical literacy needed to navigate the polluted information landscape. The Purge hoax phenomenon is a warning. It shows a world where the lines between entertainment, reality, fear, and participation have become dangerously blurred. It shows the necessity for how our society needs to become more informed, and there needs to be a collective effort to examine and create better avenues where we get our information to equip people with tools to distinguish fact from fiction in the age of disinformation. Make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, The Spooky Lawyer. Please like and share this video. If there is a spooky or disturbing story you'd like me to cover, leave a comment and tell me about it. Or if you like the video, leave a comment and tell me about it. Or if you're feeling shy, send me an email. My email address is thespookylawyer@gmail.com. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a link in the description of this video to buy me a coffee, and you can buy me a coffee. Or you can become a member of the channel. For $1.99, you can get access to the first tier of membership, which will give you access to exclusive videos and get access to my videos before they go public. I appreciate you considering this. I'm going to put all of the people who've donated to this channel here, and I'm going to put the names of all of the people who are members of this channel here. Thank you all very much. You can also support me by liking, sharing, and continuing to watch my videos. And I do appreciate that you watch my videos. And please stay spooky.